Okay. So the second kind of transport is what we call as active transport. So if you can see on the picture, in the active transport, it actually uses energy. And the unit of energy that we are talking about here is what we call as your adenosine triphosphate. So pagdating sa passive transport, we have two kinds. We have the simple diffusion. And in the simple diffusion, as you can see, the particles or the substances are just moving inside and outside of the cell through the phospholipid bilayer. So for example, here, if this is water, water can easily go in and out of the cell membrane. So it does not need the use of energy. It does not need any other structures or components of the cell membrane. Basta pumapasok at lumalabas lang siya. And again, you have to remember the idea of concentration gradient. So when we talk about concentration gradient, it means that the substances or the particles are moving from an area of high concentration, which is here, mas marami yung concentration here, going down to an area of lower concentration. So ito siya, mas konti siya on this side. So other than your simple diffusion, we also have what we call as facilitated diffusion. So when we talk about facilitated diffusion, if you can see, the particles are moving inside and outside of the cell with the help of the integral proteins. So itong kulay green na to, these are the integral proteins and they act as the gateway wherein they allow particles or substances to go in and out of the cell. Okay? Even though they are moving in, they are using or they are possible with the help of the integral proteins. You have to remember that in facilitated diffusion, it is still not using energy. So hindi pa rin siya gumagamit ng energy, and because of that, ang movement niya is still following the concept of concentration gradient, wherein the particles are moving from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration. So for example here, based on the shape, this is sugar or glucose. So yung mga piatos dyan, they are not able to just go through the phospholipid bilayer. So hindi siya papayagan doon sa hydrophobic region. Hindi siya makakapasok dito sa area na to. So ang gagawin niya, it will go in through the help of these integral proteins. Kailangan makapasok yung glucose because the energy that the cell uses actually comes from the glucose. So yung transport ng glucose from the bloodstream going to the inside of the individual cells is through the process of facilitated diffusion. So pag kailangan na ng cells ng energy, ang gagawin, i-absorb niya yung glucose from the blood, i-absorb niya, papasok siya sa loob ng cell. At yung pagpasok is through the integral proteins. Again, from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration. Saan yung region of higher concentration? In the blood. Kasi yung blood ang kumukuha ng glucose from the digestive system. So from the small intestine, the glucose will go to the blood, and then the blood will distribute it to the individual cells. So from the blood going to the cells, ang movement niya. Concentration gradient, high concentration to low concentration. Again, it does not use energy. So walang ATP na ginagamit dito, which is what makes it different from active transport. May dalawang difference between facilitated diffusion and active transport. Tapos meron silang isang similarity. The similarity is that they both use integral proteins. So kung makikita nyo sa picture, pareho siyang gumagamit ng integral protein. Pero they are different in a way because active transport uses energy in the form of ATP. So kapag walang energy, hindi mag-open yung integral protein. So ibig sabihin, hindi makakapasok or hindi makakalabas yung substances dahil wala siyang ATP. So parang when you go to school and you have to use public transportation, jeepney, ganyan, kailangan mong magbayad. Pag wala kang pambayad, hindi ka pwedeng sumakay sa jeep. Ganon din yung active transport. Yung jeep is yung integral protein. So, kailangan mong magbayad at ang payment nila is in the form of ATP. So, pag may ATP siya na didikit dito sa integral protein, saka lang aandar or mag-open itong integral protein which will allow the movement of the substances. So, active transport requires the expenditure of energy in the form of ATP. At the same time, ang movement ng particles in an active transport does not follow concentration gradient. Ang movement niya, if you can see here from the arrow, is from a region of low concentration. Mababa na nga dito, tatatlo na lang sila dito. Pumunta pa siya dun sa area of high concentration. So it actually goes against the concentration gradient. And because it goes against the concentration gradient, it needs energy for it to move to that direction. Okay? So, yan yung pinagkaiba ng passive transport sa active transport. Again, simple diffusion, walang proteins na ginagamit, walang energy na ginagamit, and it follows concentration gradient. Pagdating sa facilitated diffusion, gumagamit siya ng proteins, pero hindi siya gumagamit ng energy, and it still follows the concentration gradient. Whereas in active transport, gumagamit siya ng protein, gumagamit siya ng energy, and it does not follow the concentration gradient. So these are the three forms of cellular transport across membrane. Okay? So again, passive transport, no energy, movement from high to low. It does not need proteins. So usually ito yung mga polar substances such as oxygen or water or carbon dioxide. Okay, so ayan yung mga yon. Pagdating naman sa facilitated diffusion, passive pa rin siya because it does not use energy, although it uses proteins in this case. It follows the concentration gradient of high to low, and facilitated diffusion allows transport of bigger and non-polar substances such as glucose or amino acids, usually diffusing from the blood going to the individual cells. And that's why your proteins are actually very important in a cell membrane. Kasi kung wala yung proteins na yan, ibig sabihin, the facilitated diffusion and the active transport will not be possible. Okay? So, ayan yung example niyan. Structural support, syempre, nandiyan nakakabit yung inyong mga cytoskeleton. So, it provides structure and shape to the cell. At the same time, diyan din nakakabit sa proteins yung inyong mga sugar or carbohydrates, which is used for cellular recognition and cellular communication. At the same time, yung transport of substances going in and outside of the cell, regardless if it's using energy or not, is made possible because of these proteins. So, napaka-importante ng proteins in our cell membrane. Okay? And dyan pumapasok yung tinatawag nating transport proteins. So, meron tayong channel proteins. Ayan. Ang channel proteins are usually integral proteins. Ang nangyayari dyan is sila yung nagiging daanan. So, they open up and they allow the passage of certain substances going inside and outside of the cell. Okay, so yan yung tinatawag nating channel proteins. Yung opening niya dito is what we call as your pore. Okay, so hindi lahat ng substances pwedeng pumasok dyan. So even in the presence of channel proteins, regulated pa rin yung substances that can actually go in and go out of the cell. Okay? And then we have what we call as carrier proteins. So itong mga carrier proteins na to are usually peripheral proteins. And ang function niya is more of in the active transport. Kasi itong mga carrier proteins na to, they do not extend through the membrane. Kaya nga sabi ko sa inyo, peripheral lang sila. And sometimes, they have to undergo changes in their shape para makapasok yung mga substances. So usually, they require energy. And they have to move the substance from one side going to another. So yan yung tinatawag nating carrier proteins. Yung isa ay channel proteins. Channel proteins are integral proteins. So they just create a pore or yung way kung saan makakapasok at makakalabas yung substances. Pero when it comes to carrier proteins, they literally have to carry the substances from the inside going to outside or from outside going to inside. And mostly they are in peripheral proteins. Okay, so yan yung carrier proteins. They open from one side and then close and then open on the other side. Usually they need to expend or they need to use energy because they have to undergo changes in shape. So yung isa, nakalabas siyang ganyan, tapos pagka nagkaroon na ng energy, it will change shape, opposite naman siya. So the changes in the shape is made possible because they are using energy. Okay, so yan yung tinatawag nating active transport. Again, active transport requires energy. It goes against the concentration gradient from low to high. And it uses, yes, integral for proteins. So, ang pinaka-common na example in our body is the sodium-potassium pump. Okay? So, palitan yan. Pag pumapasok yung sodium, lumalabas yung potassium. 3 sodium to 2 potassium, 3 to 2 ang kanilang ratio. But it will only move in the presence of ATP or an energy. Okay? So, 3 sodium, yung kulay yellow. So, kung mapapansin nyo, papunta dito yung kulay yellow. Habang pumupunta dito yung kulay yellow, pumapasok din yung potassium, 2. So, 3:2 ang kanilang ratio. And this is important in the creating what we call as membrane potential. So, yung transfer of information sa neurons. So, for example, naisip na nainitan yung kamay mo. So, yung information na mabilis kailangan niyang ma-transmit agad sa brain, na uy, mainit, magkakaroon ka, dapat may motor movement na ilalayo mo yung kamay mo. Ganon kabilis yung transmission of signals in a neuron. And yung bilis ng transmission is made possible because of this membrane potential. So, nagfa-fluctuate lang yung sodium and potassium inside and outside of your cell membrane para mas mabilis yung transmission of signals from the nervous system to the motor system. Okay? And then other than the active transport, we have what we call as phagocytosis. So ito naman yung movement of bigger substances inside and outside of the cell. So the movement outside is what we call as exocytosis. So for example here, so merong mga vesicles, it will surround the substances here and then it will attach to the cell membrane and then it will expel or move these substances out. Usually makikita nyo ito or may o-observe nyo siya pag merong nakapasok na pathogen inside the cell. So ang gagawin, halimbawa may Staphylococcus na pathogen, nakapasok siya inside the cell dahil may sugat. So, ang mangyayari, papaligiran siya ng mga lysosomes. If you remember, the lysosome is an organelle that contains digestive enzymes or acids. Papatayin niya yung pathogen, yung Staphylococcus. Pag napatay na yung Staphylococcus, kahit patay na yung pathogen, it has to be expelled out of the cell. So, ang gagawin ng cell, papaligiran siya ng vesicles. Usually, parang phospholipid yon. Papaligiran siya ng maraming phospholipid. And then, these vesicles will carry yung pathogen to the plasma membrane or the cell membrane. It will attach to the plasma membrane until it can expel itong pathogen palabas ng cell. So, this is what we call as exocytosis. The opposite of that is what we call as ayan. So, ito siya. Pinaligiran niya muna yung substance and then dumikit siya sa plasma membrane hanggang sa na-expel na niya. The opposite of that is the pinocytosis or endocytosis. So, ito naman from the outside going to the inside. So, the same, it will surround, it will create this vesicle and then it will detach from the plasma membrane until the vesicle will carry yung hormones, for example, to the different parts of the cell. So this is a what we call as endocytosis. So when we say endocytosis, ibig sabihin going inside of the cell. Pag exocytosis, it means going outside of the cell. So again, it uses what we call as vesicles. Okay? Usually, they call it cell drinking. So ayan, magkakaroon ng invagination or parang kakaroon siya ng malalim na part, and then eventually it will detach from the plasma membrane, and then the vesicle will carry the substances to whatever part of the cell it is needed. So ito yung tinatawag nating phagocytosis. So this is what we call as bulk transport. Okay? So ayan. Same inside. Okay? So, cell eating, ito naman yung phagocytosis. Ayan. Okay? So,